Today I am working on Courthouse Steps. No, I did not get arrested and I am not a lawyer. I'm working on the strip challenge. So when I say I am on the Courthouse Steps or working on the Courthouse Steps, I am referring to a block pattern. Courthouse Steps has been around for a long time. What I am doing in this multi-week strip challenge is I am showing you different patterns and quilts that we can make using strips. So last week we used strips and we made a pot holder and a placemat. Today we're going to get a little bit bigger than that, or we're going to work on some blocks that will make something bigger than that. So just like I did with my half square triangle challenge, and I will put a link to that challenge in the description and hopefully somewhere up in the video, I created blocks each week, and then at the end I put all those blocks together. That is what I intend to do with our strip challenge as well. And when I refer to strips, I am talking about 2.5 inch strips. I started last week, and I will also put a card in this part of the video so that if you didn't get to see last week, you can go back and watch it. However, these are not in any particular order, so you can finish this video first. Now, with 2.5 inch strips, there are just an unlimited number of patterns that you can make. Courthouse Steps is the one we're going to talk about today. Courthouse Steps is a variation of a log cabin. If you're not familiar with a log cabin, let me know in the description below, and that can also be one of the blocks that we work on with this strip challenge. I started out with a 2.5 inch block in the center because my strips are 2.5 inches. Now for my quilt that I am making sample blocks and then putting it all together, I am going to be using these Kona fabrics, and these are solids. There are 24 strips in this pack. I happen to have 2 packs in case I go crazy and make a billion blocks. My pattern is by me and my sister Designs. It's called Confetti. It's old, but I love these colors. I can't help myself. So the next Courthouse Steps block that I'm going to make, I'm not just going to use solids. I am also going to incorporate these cute prints. Oh my goodness, just such cuteness. I can't hardly stand it. Alrighty. So cute. But I digress. So let's get back to the Courthouse Steps block. So I started with a 2.5 inch square in the center. Now the Courthouse Steps work pretty simply. So here's my center. Then I'm going to put a block on each side, or a strip on each side. It just so happens, since my center strip is 2.5 inches, I am going to put 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches on either side. So then I have my first strip. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a strip on both sides of that center set of blocks, shall we say. So here I added a strip that is 6.5 inches by 2.5 inches on either side. And the way that I color coded them was my center block is my center block. It's a color, it's the only place in this block that has that color. Then I used purple. So each side that I added to this block is purple. Then I added green. Both sides of this block have a green strip. Now, since I added the strip to up and down sides, now I need to add another strip to each side of this block. And those two are 6.5 inches. Now I have these two periwinkle on each side of the center block. Now I have this long elongated block, so I need to add a strip that is 10.5 inches of pink on both sides. Now at this point I have a square block and it is 10.5 inches, but you know me, I like my blocks to be bigger. So on both sides of that, I added another strip that is 10.5 inches. Now at this point, it's a rectangle. So in order to make it a finished block, I added this peach color in 14.75 inches on both sides of this strip. So I have all of my measurements written down. I should be able to cut my fabric and go to my sewing machine and create the print version of this block very easily. So let's cut up our strips with the printed fabric and see if my theory is correct. Now the first thing I have to do is I have to find something for my center. And you know, I think this purple polka dot is gonna be cute. I like both of them, honestly, but I'm going to take the smaller polka dot just because it's a small block in the center, and hopefully it'll show up well because I'm using the smaller print. Oliver was helping me earlier, so he decided he wanted to go outside. I guess he wasn't feeling like filming today. And I will just cut this out using my ruler. So there is the center of my block. Now, the next pieces that I need to cut are 2.5-inch blocks. I'm going to do the same thing with my printed version of the Courthouse Steps so that we can easily see where everything was added. So I know that these stripes are going to be added to either side. Nope, both sides. Both sides of this center block. Just like that. Still have some. Okay, now I need 6.5, and then I'm going to need 6.5, 6.5. I'm going to need 2 sets of 6.5 strips. So let's go through here. Let's use this set for one set of 6 3/4. I'm just cutting off the selvage. This is actually a 6.5-inch ruler. It's probably not quite, but that's okay. So we'll add this to both sides. Keep in mind, I haven't sewn anything, so that's why it looks like it might not work. Okay, and then I have this fun squiggly line, but no, I think I want something a little more filled in. So let's see, let's do this aqua. It's not necessarily filled in, but it's got more than a white background. Okay, and then these are going to be 6 3/4 1.5. And they're going to go on both sides here. Okay, so now I've gotten 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. Now we're going to go to 10.5. Let's pull out some flowers. We'll do lime green. Who does not love a lime green? Okay, and this is going to be 10.5. Break out the big ruler. So, let's see, here's 10.5. So we'll do that. And then I'm going to need another set of strips at 10.5. Let's see. We've got a blue. We haven't done any hexagons, so let's do some hexies. And I can use my little ruler here. And 10.5 inches. Okay. Okay. That will go on both sides of this. And now I need 2 at 14 and a little. So what color have I not used? I have not used yellow. So let's do this. I'll just get some yellow on here. And I keep losing my little ruler. Okay. 14 and a little. Wrong way. Wow. Dropped that one. Good thing it's not breakable. Okay. And those strips are going to go here and here. So let's put this together and see how it turns out. No. Okay. Don't leave your piece of fabric folded in or you will sew it. And why can't I ever find my... I found my seam ripper. Yay! Whoever thought I would be happy to find a seam ripper? Not me. Now let's see, did I do the right side? I did. Okay. That's what happens when you get in a hurry. Okay. Oh, goodness. All right. So close. All right. Here we have the centerpiece. Now we will put the next 2 strips on. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to add the next set of steps in our courthouse. Okay, we are cooking with gas. So now if you notice, you know what? I'm trimming it right now. I must be doing something differently this time because my strips are ending up a little longer. Okay, so let's add our next steps. I am breaking out the Steady Betty. I want to get a nice unstretched block. And this Steady Betty was the answer to my issues when I was doing half square triangles. So I am going to see if I can get a better press on my Steady Betty. Now if you note here, I've got a little bit of a pull. That is because my bobbin was giving me some trouble. All right, looks pretty. Now we have yellow. Wow, is that right? Okay, so we went from 10 and a half and 10 and a half. You know what? 10 and a half, 10 and a half. There we go. I bet that's where I went wrong. Okay, so here we are going to add our 10 and 3/4, and I'm going to trim these because they're just a little long, and I don't need that extra. So stick with 10 and a half, and I think you'll be okay. All right, adding my next steps. All right, let's bring Steady Betty back up here. See how there's no skewing? Love it. Okay, we are on. Now look, see how that looks really nice. Not, maybe just a tad long. Oh my goodness. Okay. These are the last steps we need to add. All right. Last press. Here I'm setting my seams. Now this one yellow strip, well, they're both just a little long, and I will trim them down. But I definitely like using the Steady Betty because it grabs my fabric and I'm not stretching anything because, you know, with these strips, the way they're cut, they are on the bias. So when you have one of these strips, it is stretchy. It isn't stretchy when you pull, and you can hear it, when you pull from side to side, but when you pull from end to end, definitely stretchy. Here they are, our 2 Courthouse Step blocks. Now this one I need to trim, but I also think it would be fun to mix the prints and the solids. So don't be surprised if you don't see a courthouse block like that in the final quilt. We are having a retreat in Hamilton, Missouri. Details are going to be in the description below. And when I say me, I mean Di from Sister Chicks, Tracy from the Sewing Channel, and April from April's Craft Room are going to Hamilton at the end of April, and we're going to have a blast, and we would love it if you would join us. Deets are in the description below. There is a link. If you can't find the answer to a question, just email me, aprilscraftroom@gmail.com. I'm also taking the trip of a lifetime. I'm going to Ireland in September. Deets, again, in the description below, there is a link, and if you have any questions that are not answered in the information in the link, please let me know. aprilscraftroom@gmail.com. I so much appreciate you watching my channel. I hope that you are enjoying using strips for quilting. I have much more in store, so if you would like to keep up with that, you might want to click the subscribe button, because when you push that subscribe button, you push my video out into YouTube land. And that also lets YouTube know that there are people who want to see my video, and maybe if you like it, someone else might as well. Have a great day, eat some chocolate, be kind to everyone. Until next time, bye. Pattern, put a little up. Here they out.